Hey, what up, guys? Welcome to Trey TV. Today, we're just talking about last night's episode of The Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 2, Poisoning the Saviors. Okay, that's the topic I want to talk about here and the kind of implications it could mean for further down the seasons and whatnot. So, in case you guys missed it, spoiler alert. If you have not checked out the episode yet, I suggest you don't watch this video. All right, this is your chance to get away from that. And I also want to add that I am not a comic book reader. I do not know the source material. I don't know if this has already happened amongst the Saviors and Negan's group. These are just my thoughts after watching the TV episode. Talking a little bit more about it though, we found out last episode that King Ezekiel and the Saviors have a pre-existing blackmail deal going on with Negan and his community, where he's actually trading pig meat in terms of, well, safety or kind of protection. I picture Negan's group as the mafia, and these other communities around here are these local businesses that the mafia threatens in order for protection from basically themselves. Okay, they are the ones terrorizing the group. If they don't pay these whatever they demand or these taxes, I guess, then they will attack and they will become hostile and things will not be pretty for the kingdom. Ezekiel also mentioned in the episode that he didn't think it was a smart idea to go to war with the Saviors. He thought that the community, knowing about his operation he had going on with them and his deal, that it will also lead to war. So he wants to avoid that at all costs. But instead of directly fighting Negan, he may be playing the long game with the pig situation, because as we learn, the pigs are being fed, deliberately fed, the flesh of live walkers. So they're eating all the guts, they're eating all the rotting flesh, they're eating the walkers that have eaten people inside of them. So it's pretty disgusting stuff right there. And that meat's not going back to the kingdom. That meat is exclusively for the Saviors, which could possibly be poisoning them in the long run, deteriorating their health, and also making them sick or even starting an epidemic around the Saviors community. Could this be a brilliant plan that helps bring the downfall of the Saviors? Or could this possibly backfire and bring the full wrath of Negan and his group down on Ezekiel and his people? And also, was this done intentionally? Was this a grand scheme of Ezekiel to poison the Saviors? Or was it done unintentionally? I imagine when Ezekiel and Negan's group first made this arrangement, they probably didn't start off feeding the pigs walker flesh. They probably fed what they would normally feed their own pigs. But then eventually Negan's demands kept on growing and they could not meet that demand. So in order to just keep the Saviors at bay, they had to do what they had to do and use the walker meat that's around in order to satisfy the pigs and to make them look plump and as big as they possibly can. Now, some ways that this can actually be discovered where this plan could backfire and the Saviors can actually find out what's going on is that if somebody, people start to get sick, but a portion of the Saviors do not get the sick, and they put the connection together that, we did not consume the ham like you guys did, and that's why you guys are getting sick, which means the ham we got from this guy is no good. Or if Negan and the Saviors get somewhat suspicious and spy on Kingdom and the Saviors, and they find out what they're doing with the pigs behind the scenes. Matter of fact, Ezekiel's good behavior can actually come back to bite him in this situation, because the Saviors could realize, like, hey, why are things going so smooth? Why is our dealings with this group better than any other group we ever had to deal with? Maybe they're doing something behind the scenes because it's looking too good. If it's too good, it's usually not true. So they send someone to check up on them just to make sure everything's kosher. And then they find out that way. Now, I can't imagine, like the first option I said, that really happening too much, because unless you find other vegetarians out there like Morgan who don't eat any meat, I'm pretty sure somewhere around the lines they'll probably run into some ham, and not being very picky in the apocalypse, I imagine they probably go ahead and put a piece of that on their plate. Now, it could be different for prisoners, because maybe prisoners aren't fed as good as possible Saviors, because we know that Daryl is there and he has to be fed, otherwise he will die, so they have to feed him something. But I don't know if they would feed him this premium pig meat, so perhaps he's being fed vegetables. And I imagine Daryl wasn't a big vegetable eater, so this could be true torture for him. But regardless of that, what do you guys think about this whole concept of Ezekiel poisoning the Saviors? Do you think it's a good idea? It's a dangerous play, but I do respect Ezekiel for actually making the choice to go about it this way, because I think it could really pay off or be beneficial when it's time to really take Negan and his group down. Okay, I know this fact that he's been fed this meat is definitely a plot point that's will come up later on, somewhere down the line in season 7. Now, there hasn't been any confirmation that the consumption of Walker flesh through this indirect means can lead to poor health, can lead to sickness and illness. But there are some hints that this could be the case based on past experience we've seen with other people who actually consume human flesh. The citizens of Terminus, they also made a note to never really eat Walker or tainted meat that's already been infected by a Walker bite or is dead flesh already in Walker form. They always kept their people alive, at least to the point where they can actually sever off limbs and take a piece of that and eat that. They probably tried Walker meat at first before they actually started killing live people, and then they found out that to not be the best choice of nutrition, so it didn't turn out that well for them. And that could be the same thing happening to the saviors further down the line. So comment down below, guys, let me know what your thoughts are, and thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this little video, go ahead and thumbs it up, and maybe I will do some more of these in the future, perhaps.